This week's episode of the Good Dude Podcast is brought to you by Embrace Jiu-Jitsu, Hidden House Coffee, and Next Gen Peptides. Hello, everybody. I'm Jordan, as you may already know. I go here to Mesa Church. I know most of you already, and I got asked to speak by Ben about 2 months ago. He was saying, hey, man, I think it's your turn in July. And so I was like, well, I have 2 months to prepare. This is going to be awesome. I'm so excited. And so I was like, I'm going to nail this, right? And so I started praying about it and thinking about it. And a month went by, and started praying about it and thinking about it. And like 2 weeks went by, and then I started praying about it and thinking about it. And like another week went by, and I'm like, shoot, this is the week of. And so I'm like praying about it and thinking about it, and I write stuff, and I'm like, no, that's garbage. I don't want that. So I just toss it out the window, and I'm like, let's do this. And I'm like, what am I even saying? Like, that's not even in the Bible. Like, what? So I finally land. I'm praying about it the other day, and I really feel like God was telling me, like, hey, just tell your story. Just like tell them about you and like what I've done for you. And it's kind of a weird thing, I think, when like, it's not weird, right? We tell our testimonies all the time at church, right? This is fantastic. I mean, we tell how God saved our life. But like from the person that's telling it, like I'm not a pastor, right? I've never went to seminary, or as I told Keith the other day, cemetery by accident, and he thought it was hilarious. He was like, yeah, exactly. I was thinking about it. I'm like, so I'm going to get up on stage, and most of the people I have to see every single Sunday, I'm going to just go ahead and like just air all my dirty laundry out. Like, I have to see them the rest of the week, and I just got on staff, and like, does that seem like a good idea? But that's what he wants me to do today. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you guys, and I hope it's encouraging. Like my story, I'm going to be honest, like to me is not very crazy. Like it's not, I've gone through a lot, but if I think about it, it's not like I was in like a prison gang and like I was going to kill somebody and then like Jesus found me. Like I grew up in South Orange County. Like I have amazing parents. And they love each other, and they love me. And I grew up in a really safe home. My parents are phenomenal. Like they were both like Christians from a very young age, and they did everything right. Like they didn't drink, they didn't sleep around, they didn't get in trouble. At least not that they told me. My dad went to the Air Force Academy, and then they ended up meeting at Biola later on, and then they got married, and they were like. They knew each other from high school. So there's like this thing where I'm like, growing up, I'm hearing these stories, and I'm like, man, my parents are so awesome. They're such good Christians. I can never live up to that. And that was kind of my thought. That was kind of my reaction. Was like, they're so good at this whole God thing that I just don't know if I'm ever going to be that good at it. And so that was kind of always in the back of my mind as I was growing up. And then. I was in high school, and my dad and I built a business, and I actually spent my whole freshman year homeschooling to help him build this business. We had a business partner, and it was going phenomenal, phenomenal. Like we were looking at airplanes. Like my dad was a pilot, and I was like 14 years old. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna buy an airplane. It's gonna be epic. I'm so excited. And my dad was like, yeah, we're gonna go on trips, and we just put some really hard work in. Felt like God had blessed the whole thing. And then our business partner cut and ran, took everything, stole from us. Our clients that we had broke contract, and we literally went from like the mountaintop of like, man, this is gonna be our massive breakthrough, to immediately like we lose our house. And like my mom, my dad, my sister, and I, we move into a 24-foot by 8-foot trailer on our friend's avocado ranch. We're hiding our cars so they don't get repossessed. My dad and I are eating one meal a day, so my sister and my mom can eat like normally. My dad's working multiple jobs. I'm in school and like working outside of school. Like I'd go to school, I'd go to football, and then I'd go to work. And I just remember thinking like, why God? Like why me? Like why us? Like my parents have done it all right, man. Like they followed everything to the T, right? And I was like, well, why then would I do that? That seems dumb, right? Like if I'm gonna go after like you and pursue you and keep myself pure and holy and sanctified, and this is how you repay the people that like love you the most, like what's the freaking point? Just being real, like that was my thought. I was like, what? Why? And so from there, I just want you to hold on to that why me part, right? Because sometimes before I move on my story, sometimes there's why me because bad things happen and you have no control over them, right? There's certain things like just in this world where things happen to you, and it's not because you sinned, and it's not because, like you did anything. It just happens. It's just part of, because we live in a fallen world, right? And there's multiple different ways that you can get to this why me and like why bad things happen, right? So we live in a fallen world. That's part of it, right? That's part of the sin that came down, right? We're not a perfect world anymore. So luckily we have a sovereign God. There's sometimes where it's attacks from the devil. It really is. And if you don't think the devil is like really, it says in the Bible, it says, the enemy has come only to steal, kill, and destroy. Right? So if you don't think that there's an enemy out there trying to attack you, you're kind of too dumb to talk to. I just don't want to even talk to you about it. Because if you don't know that if you don't think there's going to be in a fight and then you're in a fight, you're going to get your butt whooped. That's really what's going to happen. So sometimes, right? Sometimes we're part of a fallen world. Sometimes it's the devil. Sometimes you're the devil. Take that for a second. I just want you to think about that for a minute. Because people go, Jordan, man, God is attacking my finances right now. And the enemy, man, I just feel him. He's just attacking me. I'm like, bro, you just bought an F-150 with money you don't have. That's the enemy. It's not the finances. It's that you're making dumb decisions. Has anyone made a dumb decision? Right? I know I have, right? And I'm really good at it too. I got like an A+ in making bad decisions. So now I'm moving on in my life, right? I say, God, why me? Or why would you do that to such a loving, amazing Christian family? And so I go, okay, well, I'm gonna kind of go do what I want. And I'm gonna go do what I want. And I was good at it, but I was also kind of bad at it, right? Because I grew up in the church, and so like I knew God was real. So I was like, I want to piss you off, but not enough to actually get in trouble, but like just enough to kind of do what I want to do. So that was my plan. And so, the entire time I was still going to church. If you asked me if I loved God, I'd be like, yeah, man, I love God. I pray for healing for people. I pray in tongues. Like, I don't know if you guys believe in that or not, but like I did. But I was like, I pray in tongues. Like I'm good. Like God still loves me. I just kind of want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And so there comes a point in my life, we're a little bit down the road. We're still in this big financial mess. And I just go, you know what? I'm going to go pursue some stuff that I want to do. So I started training for a job that I really wanted to have. And I put all my time and effort into training for that. And I really locked in. And I put almost all of my time in it. And I say almost because I definitely found time for extracurricular activities with my girlfriend. And she wound up pregnant. And so now I'm in my early 20s, and my girlfriend's pregnant, and our family's still in a bad position. And I didn't go to college. And because I'm training for this contract, I'm not really working all that much. I'm working just enough to pay my bills. And I sit there and I go, God, why me? And it's kind of silly now, like thinking about it, right? God, why me? Like, why me? You put yourself in that position. That was that number 2 spot. Like you spent the money that you didn't have on things that you didn't need to impress people that you didn't like. But for me, it was you decided to make poor decisions, and this is the actions to your consequences. Like, why now am I saying, God, why me? But it's because I had this notion in my brain. I was like, but I'm still such a good man. Like, I still love you. I still like go to church on Sundays. I mean, like I still pray. I still go to men's breakfasts. And so God, why me? And there's this great quote from C.S. Lewis that says, "If Christianity is false, it is of no importance. If it's true, it's of infinite importance. But the only thing that it can't be is of moderate importance." And that's kind of how I treated my life. It's just kind of like God was moderately important. Like he was just kind of an add-on to what I wanted to do. Like he was cool and I loved him and I know that he created everything. But as long as like he didn't get in the way of like the things that I really wanted to do, like it was good. Like that's where I kind of wanted to keep him. And there's this cool story in the Bible, and I'm going to kind of go on a little sidetrack here. It's in 2 Samuel, and everyone likes talking about David because David's awesome. He really is. I mean, he was like a mess up and all that kind of stuff, and there's so many great lessons to be learned from David, but there's like another little mini story within 2 Samuel, and they're bringing the Ark of the Covenant from Abinadab's house to Jerusalem. That's where he wants to take it. And if you don't know what the Ark of the Covenant is, I'm pretty sure everyone here does, but it is where God's presence dwelled with the Israelites. And it was a very holy thing, right? It was like it had the poles that came out from it for it to be carried, and the presence of the Lord sat in it. It had the Ten Commandments were in there, and it had manna in there, and it had Aaron's rod in there, and it was something to be reverenced. There was a bunch of rules around how to handle it, how to move it, how to transport it, how to do all these different things. And back then, right, in the Bible, they only had a few books, so they would have read these things over and over and over and over and over again. Most of them probably would have had it memorized, so they knew everything about how it should be done to move the ark. And they said they weren't going to do it that way. They put it on a cart, and they're moving it from Abinadab's house. And this is like a part in the Bible that's like kind of really hard. Like let's be honest, right? If you guys read the Bible, are there things in the Bible that like are kind of hard to understand fully, right? There's moments in the Bible that you read that and you're like, ooh, like, that's a little difficult. At least for me it is. And so they're moving the Ark of the Covenant down, right? It's on a cart. It says that it gets to the threshing floor, and the Ark of the Covenant starts to fall. And there's this guy named, I think how do I pronounce it, Uzzah? I'm going to say Uzzah. He reaches out to try to catch it because it's going to fall, and God strikes him dead, and he dies. Right? That's kind of hard to swallow. Like when I first read through it, I was reading through it, and I was like, man, that's really, ouch. Like, God, how do I talk about that? Like that's kind of something that normally like we don't put on like verses to go read for new Christians, right? Like, hey, you know what you should really do, man? There's a loving God out there. He loves you. He cares about you. He died for you on a cross. You should go read about how he killed somebody that tried to touch his holy cart as it was falling. Like, you don't do that. But then as I kind of read closer, I noticed that he was the son of Abinadab. And Abinadab is the house that the ark was in. And it had been there for over 20 years, which means Uzzah grew up around the Ark of the Covenant. It was in his house all the time. So like he's brushing his teeth and it's there, and he's showering and it's there, and he's eating and it's there, and he's doing all these different things. Like, does anybody like really, really pay attention to the coffee table you have at your house? No, right? It's been there forever. You walk past it every morning. You set your cup of coffee on it. You like all these different things, right? It becomes just part of your house. It's just this thing. So what I kind of noticed is when they come to take the Ark of the Covenant out of Abinadab's house, there was poles on the ark for a reason, right? You're supposed to carry it up on your shoulders. What did they do? They put it on a cart, a brand new cart. Well, why would you do that? Like, why? And then I realized that first of all, they were carrying it the wrong way. And then when it started to fall, like everybody knew you weren't supposed to touch the Ark of the Covenant. Like you just weren't, like, that's where God sat. And so it was when he reached out and he grabbed it, I think he did it. It was out of instinct, and I think, honestly, he probably did have good intentions in mind, but I think what he lost was respect and the fear of the Lord and the reverence for God. And you're probably thinking, okay, Jordan, why did we go on this tangent? But when you grow up in the church and you grow up around God all the time, and you're going to church every Sunday since you were 5, and you're going to men's breakfast, and you're going to prayers, and it just kind of becomes just this thing that you do, this coffee table that sits in your house that's just part of your life, but you have no reverence for it. You have no reverence for God. You have no fear of the Lord, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So I think, to be honest, guys, that's where I was sitting, is that I had grown up around church my whole life, and I lost my fear of the Lord, and I lost, my reverence for him and his presence and the importance. I was treating him as moderately important and just a part of my life, just an add-on, an accessory, right? So I have my girlfriend's pregnant, and you would think, like, I'm God, why me? Why am I doing this? And I was just sitting in this pity party, and one of the greatest moments of my life happened in that moment. So I found out we were pregnant, and the first thing I thought about after, how am I going to take care of a family, is how am I going to tell my dad? How am I going to look the man in the eye that walked out what it means to be a good man day in and day out? He loved us. He took care of us. He wasn't perfect, right? Nobody's perfect, but he was just he's my best friend. He's one of the greatest men I've ever known. And how am I going to look him in the eye and say, hey, no matter what you did and how much you loved me and how much you cared for me and all the great lessons you taught me, I just got to look him in the eye and go hey, I purposely did the exact opposite of what you said. And now I'm screwed. What do I do? So I call him up and we go get coffee. And we're sitting there and I just start sobbing. And I'm like, he's going to disown me. He's not going to want me to be his son anymore. He's at this point I'm an adult, right? I'm paying my own way. I live not with my parents, clearly, because I had time for extracurricular activities. But I'm like, my dad's never going to speak to me again. I'm going to lose my best friend. I'm going to lose him. And you want to talk about the Bible being alive, right? Everyone's heard the story of the prodigal son. You should have. Ben just taught about it. So if you don't know it, you weren't listening, right? This is a son that purposely goes out of his way and does everything wrong and takes his inheritance and squanders it and then goes, I'm not worthy to be my dad's son anymore, but at least I can maybe be a servant. And the Bible never became more alive to me than that day when I looked at my dad and I said, I messed up, Dad. I don't know what to do. And my dad looked back to me and goes, I love you, son. You're going to be a great dad. You're a great man. And we're going to work through this. And guys, I sobbed like a baby. I ugly cried. I did the hiccup thing. And at that point, I thought I was a pretty bad dude. I was running like crazy. I could swim like a fish. I could lift like nobody's business. I'm still 5'8", so I'm not that intimidating. But I'm just sobbing and I'm broken. And I want to say this is the part of the sermon you go, oh man, here it comes. Woo, you grew up in the church. You're like, he turned his life around. I did not. But a seed was planted. A seed was planted of what God's love really was in my life. So, are you guys still tracking with me? Are we good? I sound a bit chaotic. I'm all over the place, but that's my brain and that's my story. So then, 3 months later, right? I give up this contract that I've been working for 2 years. I give it up. I grab a job. I'm preparing myself to, I get a ring from a buddy of mine, and I'm like, I'm gonna propose. We're gonna get married, and I'm gonna take care of this kid. I'm so excited. I've always wanted to be a dad, so this is good. I actually got the ring from Ben. Yeah. So 3 months later, I'm getting ready, and then my girlfriend calls me. I'm at work one day. I'm working on an ambulance now. So I'm at work one day, and she goes, "Hey, I just miscarried." And I go, "Okay." And like, if you want me to be real in this moment, I was hurt. There was also a small part of me that was relieved. If I'm going to be completely honest, like I don't want to lie to you up here, but I was hurt. And then she looked at me and goes, "Hey, like, I just want to let you know, like, I don't ever want to see you again." And I was like, "Oh." And so I just given up like my dream job. During that time between when my dad told me he still loved me and this, I was like actively trying to find my way back to the Lord and like actively trying to be a better man and actively trying to make up for all the things that I'd done wrong. And now I'm sitting in my room. A fifth of Jack is gone. I have a 45 loaded and in my hand, and I'm putting it against my head going, man, everyone would be so much better without me. I'm a failure of a man. I'm a failure of a son. I'm no good. I'm not worth anything. I should probably just end it all now. Like everybody would be so much better off. Save my parents' embarrassment, you know? And I don't want to do this anymore. I just put it in God's hands, you know? And God gave me this really real vision that day of me post-killing myself. Okay? This is getting a little dark, I know. My mom came into my room, and she found my body. And I heard her scream of pain and terror. It cut to my dad pulling her out of the room. And then it cut to about a week later of my mom sobbing as she was scrubbing the blood, my blood, out of their carpet. And it broke me. I put it down, put my gun back in the safe, threw away the alcohol, and went to sleep. And I'd love to tell you guys again, like that day my life was changed forever, and like instantly my life was right back on track, and God he redeemed everything right away. And I woke up the next morning and I was just like skipping down the road saying like, I love Jesus, this is amazing. It wasn't. I woke up the next day so depressed and sad, and like I was a mope and miserable, and I hated my life and all the things. I still felt like a failure. I still felt like a loser. I still felt like all these different things. But it was the beginning of a journey. It was the beginning of a journey of getting back to knowing God and to realizing that like sometimes life is hard because you do dumb things. And it was like I had to be a man, and I had to own up to the part where I had a good and gracious God that loved me and cared for me, and I just did stupid stuff, and I put myself in this position that I was in. So that's what I did. I started focusing, instead of finding the right girl, right? I started focus on being the man that the right girl would want to be attracted to. And I stopped focusing on being the perfect Christian, and I just started focusing on the daily tasks of getting me back to the Lord. And the process of sanctification is so different for every person. We check those boxes in different orders, and sometimes it takes one person a little bit longer than it takes another person. It just took me a while. even though I grew up in the church, because I was so close to God all the time that it was almost hard for me to understand his presence because I was so numb to it because it became so familiar all the time. I was so used to the Ark of the Covenant sitting right next to me that I forgot the holiness that it had. And like what it represented is God's presence. Like God's presence, God's presence was right there with me the entire time, and I really just kind of ignored it. So I'm going to fast forward a lot now. So I kind of got out of that why me for making stupid decisions. And I'm going to be honest, that why me for making stupid decisions doesn't totally ever go away. Like I still do that a lot. And I'm sure you will too. But now I'm in my 30s. I'm married. I had Hudson is my oldest. I have 4 kids. Hudson, Harper, Paisley, and Waylon. Hudson is 5, 4, 20 months, so over a year and a half, almost 2 years, and then 2 months old, right? So my house is chaos. There's always chip crumbs everywhere. It looks like a homeless person came in and robbed us and just threw everything all over the house and took off. But that's just our life right now, and we've grown to love the chaos. So my son is 1 year old, and my wife is pregnant with Harper. And one day I'm working, and I just, all of a sudden, I feel super funny. Like, I just feel off. It's just an off day. I'm just not feeling good. Like, every time I go to send a text message, it seems weird. My brain feels foggy. I just don't feel right. And so I'm going out to the trash, and I go, man, I feel weird. And when I say weird, my face droops. My face just, bleh. And I go, oh, no. And then it immediately goes back to normal. And so between the killing myself and 30, I was an EMT and a paramedic in that time, so I should have known better. I should have known that I was having a stroke. But when EMS people are some of the worst people to like deal with when it comes to medical stuff, because we always think, nah, it's not us. So I was thinking, no, it's not me. Long story short, I ended up having a massive stroke. I get rushed to Mission Hospital, we got in the car and drove ourselves. Also, don't advise, call 911. We drove to the hospital. There was just a series of miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. Like, we got in there, it was during COVID. We got in the hospital. They go, ma'am, you can't be here. She goes, my husband can't talk. He needs me here to communicate what's going on. And they go, oh, okay, well, here's his paperwork, have him fill it out. So, like, mind you, like, my arm's kind of drooping, I can't talk, and they're like, hey, fill out your own paperwork. Like, what? Like, okay, sure. So I'm writing my name, and I remember it was almost like a cartoon. If you ever seen, like, those cartoons where they're like drawing a picture, and it's like they're on the paper, and the paper's smoking, and they're just going like this, and it's like hours, and they're sweating, and all I'm supposed to do is write my name, and I'm thinking, man, I am crushing this name right now. I'm writing this so good. It's gonna be the best name ever written in the entire world. Sounds dumb, that's actually what I was thinking. I looked down at the piece of paper, and it's literally just like a scribble that does this, and I remember thinking, crap. I was like, I'm in trouble. Luckily, there was a nurse that I used to work with that just happened to be right there. And she walks over and she goes, Jordan, are you okay? And all I could do was go, and she goes, oh no, you're having a stroke. And I was like, She's like, okay. Code blue, like everyone was like freaking out. Everyone's running around. They kicked my wife out of the hospital because it is COVID. And I'm in my hospital bed, and the doctor walks in and goes, hey, you have massive clots in your brain. You're about to die or become a vegetable. We need to go do surgery right now. Let's call your wife, try to get her in here, say goodbye. So I'm laying in the hospital bed. My wife comes in, I hand her my ring, I give her a kiss. I said, by then my speech had come back a little bit. I said, I love you, I've always loved you. Tell Hudson I love him, and tell Harper, well, we didn't know Harper was gonna be Harper yet. I just tell the baby that I love them if I don't make it. So my wife leaves, I'm getting wheeled out, and I'm scared. I'm so scared. But instead of why me, I look at God and I just go, God, there's this, I think I've told, you guys have heard probably this story before because I think I told it on Father's Day 2 years ago, but I was like, there's a pilot's prayer. My dad taught me this when I was a kid. My dad was a pilot. It says, "Dear Lord, please help me not to mess this up." It's really more colorful than that, but my dad was a great Christian man, so he left it at that. So I'm like, "Dear Lord, you need to figure this out." I was like, I have a wife, I have a son, I have a daughter on the way. Like, I take care of my mother-in-law. Like, I'm pursuing you, God. I need your help on this one. Like, you just got to figure it out. And I tell you, like, honest truth, it's like someone put a warm blanket over my body, and I just had instant peace. I came out of this surgery. I had 0 deficits, which is crazy. This is like, it's a full miracle, right? I come out of this surgery, 0 deficits. I'm like riding high. Like, this is amazing. This is so cool. And like, I'm home one day, and I'm just sitting, doing stuff, and I just start bawling. And I go from, God, why me, to God, why did you save me? Why? From like, why me? I'm such a good person, to like, God, why did you save me? I'm not worthy of this. I'm not. Like, there's so many better people out there that you could have saved, and yet I'm not dead. Like, why? What's up with that? And I still to this day don't know why. I mean, I know he has a purpose and plan for my life, right? It says in Psalm 20:39 that he has every one of your days numbered, which means if you still have a pulse, you still have a purpose for your life, because you have 2 days that are set in stone, the day you were born and the day that you die. You know one of them, you don't know the other one. So if you're still here, he's got a reason for you to be here. So I just go, God, like, why'd you save me? And I want to tell you, like, again, like, this is a theme of my story, that like, I was on the way of getting closer with God. Like, was my walk perfect? No. Was I like, did I fully understand like the fear of God and the reverence for him? Was I like spending every day in my Bible? No, I was a better moderate Christian. I was a better moderate follower of God. I still hadn't like, God, I'm fully yours, right? So let's fast forward again. So it's about 2 months ago now. I'm at Hidden House taking a meeting. And my phone rings. I look at my phone. It's my wife. Hey, I'm in a meeting. Put my phone down. Phone rings again. And in between there had been a bunch of text messages. She blew up my phone. I look at my phone again, and I'm like, my wife never calls twice in a row. Someone at my house is not okay. I was like, who are we taking to the hospital, or who am I spanking when I get home? Which one of those is it? It's going to be one of those two. My wife goes, hey, I'm in labor. My water just broke. Waylon's on his way. Mind you, this is a month before my wife is supposed to give birth, right? We're 5 weeks out. We don't have anything ready. I still need to buy a car seat. Like, we have 3 other kids, so I'm sure we'll be fine, but like, we didn't have everything that we needed. So we rushed to the hospital, and this is supposedly my wife's last pregnancy. She's trying to talk me into another one already, but she is ready. Like, this is gonna be perfect. We're giving birth at the hospital that she was born in, right? So like, have you ever been to Hogue Newport? It's like a hotel, man. You walk in and there's just this view, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be amazing. I'm so excited, babe. I love you. I love you too. This is so great. Immediately the doctor walks in and goes, hey, everything's wrong. Everything, your baby's not head down, he's head up, he's breached, your water's broke, he's gone. The only doctor that delivers breached babies normally is out of the town and in another country, and you're going into surgery right now. And I was like, what? Huh? So we go in, we have a C-section, our son comes out, I hear him cry, I'm like, yay, I'm so excited. All of a sudden they go, hey, he's not breathing right. And I'm like, okay. And we're going to take him up to the NICU. I was like, okay. And so, you know, I'm there with my wife. She's getting put back together, like Lego set. My son likes to say she got sawed in half. He was like, Mom got sawed in half. So they're putting her back together. And we go upstairs, we get all settled in the room, and my son's just not breathing right. And the doctor comes in, hey, we're going to have to put a tube down his throat. We're going to have to start pushing medications. He's premature. He doesn't have the strength. We're not quite sure what that means yet. Luckily, he wasn't without oxygen for too long, so we're good. Like, his brain should be fine, but like we just don't know what we don't know what we don't know. And his heart keeps picking up to about 210 beats per minute, which is crazy out of nowhere, and we don't know why. Earlier in that day, I'd been praying, right? I'd been praying to God, and I was like, hey, God. And I don't know why I said this. I was during my prayer time, and I was just praying, and it was like, all right, God, like, I just give my kids to you. And whatever you want to do, you do. And I'm going to praise you through it no matter what. Not knowing we were going to give birth and be in the NICU. So at 2 a.m, I find myself in this hospital room with my son in a giant glass bubble, tubes all shoved down his throat. He's uncomfortable. I can see him wiggling and moving, and I can't do anything. Like, I just can't do anything. And like, that's like the one thing as a dad you're supposed to be able to do, protect your family, right? And I can't make him better. I can't make him feel better. I can't make him feel more comforted. They don't even want me touching him. So I'm just sitting there looking through the glass. And instead of saying, why, God? I said, God, I trust you. And this isn't like a Jordan pat on the back thing, right? This is because I've made so many wrong decisions and asked God why so many times in the past that I realized that when I get to this point that I'm like, really the only response that I should have is, God, I trust you. Because you've delivered me through so much already. You've taken me through the valley of the shadow of death so many times that like my only response at this point should be, God, I trust you. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, like, this sounds really good, right? This is a great talk, and I'm probably going over. This is a great talk in theory, but my son turned out okay. What if my son hadn't turned out okay? Like, let's just be real here for a second. I don't know if I'd be on this stage looking at you and going, God's so good. I don't know if I would. And that's okay. That's what I'm finding out, is that that's okay. It's okay to wrestle with God. It's okay to ask him, like, God, like, what he really wants is a real relationship with us. He wants us not to treat him like a coffee table that's been sitting in our house this whole time. He wants us to treat him like he's holy, and he wants a friendship, and he wants a relationship. He wants us to treat him as important, not moderately important. And so, like, as we kind of close here, I just kind of want to ask you guys, like, for the long-time believer, so let me back up for a second. Ben and I have a podcast, Good Dude, Good Dad. It was all birthed out of that stroke moment. There was 6 months where they said I could die at any moment. I started making videos for my son because I wanted him to know what it was like, or I wanted to know that I loved him, and he heard my voice tell him that I loved him. And I wanted him to know what it meant to be a good man, what it meant to fail, what it meant to love God, and what it meant to love his family. One thing I would always do is give him a practical application or something to think about at the end of one of those videos, right? So my practical application for us today, for the long-time believer, is where, like, I mean, I'm talking to, like, some of you older gentlemen or people that have grown up in church the entire time, like your whole life. Where in your life have you sat so close to the presence of the God that you've become numb to it? Like, I want you to like pray about that this week. And like, search me, O God, know my heart, try me and know my thoughts, see if there be any grievous ways in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. Psalm 139. Like, ask God this week, like, God, are there moments in my life where I've sat so close to your presence that I've just become numb to it? Like, show me the holy fear of God. Show me the wisdom. For you, I want to say, for you newer believers, I want to ask you, like, are you treating this gift that we've been given as moderately important? because there is a real man that died on a real cross because he really loved you. And if you really believe in him, it can change everything about everything about everything. And like, if there are any non-believers in this room, like this story is like, I hope to you, because it means that you don't have to come cleaned up, and you don't have to come polished up, and you don't have to come perfect to the foot of the cross. He just wants you to show up and let him do the rest. And I'm not saying that he can't change your life overnight. He most definitely can, but look at my story. Sometimes he just doesn't. Sometimes it's your own fault. Sometimes it's circumstances outside of your control. Here's the kicker. Sometimes God does it on purpose. I think it's in 2 Corinthians. Like it says, Paul's like, I had a thorn in my side. I asked God to take it. He goes, no, I gave it to you so that you wouldn't become conceited. Try to reckon with that. Put that on a Bible, like on a coffee mug. Like it's not a coffee mug verse. But it's all to bring us closer to him. So, guys, that was kind of like, I don't really know where to go from here. So we're just kind of dropping off. I just want to pray for you real quick as we go about our day. And if Jimmy, you want to come up and do like one more song. I know we're kind of running a little. I know we're doing, I think, okay. I just want to pray for you guys real quick. If anyone wants to come up and receive prayer, we'll have a few guys up here. Like, this is what men's breakfast, I really feel like, is about, and like why God wanted me to share like my story, and now you guys know of all the bad things I've done in my life. Well, part of them, because like we're all imperfect, you know. We're all going through something, and Ben and I were able to have like we had a great podcast yesterday, and it was amazing because we were just talking about life and about family and about kids, and he looked at us. He goes, "I'm not crazy." I'm like, what? He's like, I'm not crazy. I feel like I was alone in all this. Like sometimes I just don't understand my wife. Sometimes I just don't know how to parent my kids. Sometimes I just don't know how to like connect with God. Like sometimes I just don't know. And it's, yeah, guys, we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to figure out life. Some of us have more years and more wisdom than others, but we're all going through this process together. So I just want to close our eyes real quick. We'll just pray, and I'll let Jimmy close us out. But dear Lord, we just thank you. We just thank you that you are a good and gracious and wonderful God. Lord, we thank you that you're a God that cares about us. That is okay with us coming to you and going, why, God? That deals with our stupidity and our selfishness and loves us the same. A God that when we mess up, we can go to your foot and say, I'm not worthy to be called your son. And you tell us and you grab us and you hold us and you say, I love you. Lord, I just thank you that you're going to be a move in these men's lives this week, Lord. I pray, God, if there's any part of us that has treated you like moderately important or gotten so used to your presence that we've become numb, that, Lord, you give us a fresh stirring of your goodness, of your holiness, of your presence. I pray for all these men as they go about this week, Lord, that you stir a fire within them to help lead their families, lead their communities, lead their jobs, lead themselves. Lord, that you take that burden of the weight of the world that's sitting on their shoulders, Lord, and you give them a yoke that is easy and light. So I just pray blessing and favor over everyone here today. We love you, God. Amen.